Good morning, everybody. This is Tom from Tom and Ruth Philippine Adventure Podcast. How is everybody doing today? We got karaoke going on in the background. I hope everybody's okay. I don't know if everybody can hear that, but hopefully it's not too loud for you. I'm in the expandable house, so it's a lot quieter in here than it would be uh, with that door open. Today, gray skies. Temperature's probably in mid 70s. It's little little humidity. It's not what's called cold or anything like that. It's comfortable weather out there today. Of course, anytime that sun's not beating on you here, since we're so close to the equator here, it's many things can happen as far as heat, a lot of heat. So today we're just going to be talking about just many different things. We're going to talk about age gap. I'm going to tell you a story about Paulie, Mr. Paulie. That's not the Paulie that I talked about here about a month ago. It's a different guy. It's funny. It's from the same city there in New York, but we're going to talk about him today. Basically, his story is not a long story, but I thought I'd just kind of get into this. It's about a story of him. Uh, Met a Filipino online, and she is a province girl. And what I mean province, she's a mountain lady. And Polly met this lady online, and apparently they get good internet in the mountain compared to what I get. Go figure, right? Maybe they're higher up and they get good signal. But he met this girl, and she is a mountain girl, and he paid 2 pigs for her, and that's what the tribe leader wanted. So, there's arrangement that he should take care of her, support her, and of course the family. So he said, "All right." So basically, it's fine. Now nobody speaks English. She speaks a little English, good to get enough to get by, good enough to understand, good enough to communicate. So that's what they're doing now. The big question about it is of all the people, I've said, well, how in the world did you meet her? He said, I met her online. It was on a dating site, one of the Christian Filipino like I have on my site, and she's a young girl. She's 23, and he is 60. So 23 and 60. He's coming here to meet her to get married, and then he's eventually going to bring her back to the States. He doesn't want to live here because his New York lifestyle, he loves it so much better than he did here in the Philippines, because he can't live his Western lifestyle. He can't go to the pub and bars and meet the guys and go out with his buddies and things like that. So whatever. And I say shout out for him for that. So uh, he said that the problem has been that he, when he met the family, everything's fine. They didn't stronghold him or anything else, but he knows eventually that's going to happen. He said, not a problem. I'm prepared for it. Being a New Yorker, I can handle that. But the thing of it is marrying such a young girl, he finds that communication is a big problem. And what he means by communicating with her on her level, meaning that she likes a lot of different things. That's the way you got to have certain things in common. Now, she's going to like certain music you're not going to like. You may like 80s or 60s or even the 50s. I love 50 music. In the 50s, when I was growing up, in the 60s, I would always love listening to the old bands back then. And he said he loves that. Him being Italian, he loves a lot of Italian singers and things like that. So he said he's finding that most of the time that he's finding is, Omer, don't you dare do that. Omer's pulling down his shirt. He's wanting to gnaw at it or something. Uh, but he met this girl, and so he said that him being Italian, he loves a lot of Italian type foods and things like that. He knows he's not going to get good pasta here. He's not going to get good flour, things like that he's used to. So that's all right. Everybody to their own. Some people want to get away from all that and move here. So, and then try to open up an Italian restaurant. Most ones that I've been to, even in Davao and CDO, I'm not lasted because you got to cook Filipino food. You can't just cook foreigner food here because Filipino don't know what Mexican food is. They don't know what good pasta is. They've not grown up with it. You give them a rice dish with some viand and something like that, they're there. And if it's under 99 peso, they're there. And all you can eat, they're there. But his dilemma is this: it's communication to her. And I said, well, I would have thought about that a long time before. And he admits he was not thinking with the uh, right at the time, because he wasn't thinking a way that it would have been perfect for him to communicate with her. He said, I'm just really concerned that I'm going to have problems down the road. I said, well, you have to talk to her all about this stuff. You should have done, uh, there's certain questions you should ask. Is she, what kind of person is she? Christian? Does she like to do this? Does she like to do that? Does she want to do this? What does she want out of her life? Does she want to? Is she mainly your goal trying to just get to USA, or is the goal trying to take care of her family here? What are particular things? Because here, as a mountain girl, you're required. You're required as a female to help bring in the money for the family, and the father and the boys can lay around, and that's what it is. You go out and make the money, and the father and boys will lay around and do the things. That's what I've noticed so far. Maybe it's not everywhere. Okay, and I don't know many. I've only met about 40, 50 Sulads, many different mountain people, and that's normally what it's been around me where I'm at, within 60, 80 miles of me here, because I've been many places. In fact, Ruth and I went to Sulads, and I didn't do a video on it because they wouldn't. I couldn't do it. They would not let me do a video. So, and then people are strict on these videos now. You got to be very careful on that. I don't want to get off on this subject, but you can go in the malls now, even in SNR, even some places you're not allowed to do a lot of videos. I mean, I've been told so many times not to do it. In this particular instance, I was told not to do it there, so we didn't do it. Because there's reasons, and you guys can probably think the reasons. Now, here's the thing. Also, if you're a foreigner, you're gonna marry a mountain girl, Sulad, or what they call them. We call them mountain girls here. You got to be prepared for certain things. The family comes first, of course, and you are going to have to take care of mom and papa, and most of the time the boys and other sisters too. And he was prepared for it. Now, you're going to get that square with her in the beginning on her mindset and where she's at. Does she feel that obligation that she has to do it? Is she going to get the U.S. and require all these tasks and all these things? And that's what he was kind of afraid of. I'm afraid of that she gets there and the load's going to be upon me. He said, I have money. I can afford some money, but I'm not going to afford money when they're laying around and not doing anything and we just give them money all the time. And I said, well, here's the way you could do it. There is a limit. They only get X amount, however they choose that amount of money. And that could be anywhere from $200 to $400 a month. And I suggest more likely there's not a tribe member in the whole tribe, and all the money together is not consumed 10,000 peso a month, because they live off the land, basically. And they don't have jobs. They live basically off the land. And so if you're sending 10,000 peso a month to them, you're considered to be rich. And then they can go buy cows and goats and pigs and chickens and all the stuff they want to buy with that 10,000. So that's what he's going to attempt to do. He said that more likely she's not going to agree to it. And so he has a dilemma there whether that's something they can agree with. Now, as a person that I've dealt with, so a lot of them are reasonable, but there's some that are not reasonable. And you have to walk on eggshells. And so there's certain things that be required of that daughter. And so she has to do what her father says, and she was raised that way. And so more than likely, I said, you're going to have that same dilemma with that. So you got to be kind of prepared for that. So I do want to say that if you really want to marry someone that's age gap relationship and it's 40-something years, you really need to think about it. 20 years is questionable sometimes, or 25 years. It's 26 years between Ruth and I. And we get along fine, we do fine, but we've had our rocky roads too. It's not been, pie and ice cream all the time. We've had situations where she gets mad at me. I have no idea why, because I'm perfect, right? Joke. But and I've gotten mad at her, and we realized that it was stupid getting mad at each other on some simple thing, and more likely it's a word or something you said or an action that you did or an action that you didn't do, and that's I'm finding that's most of the time the problems that you have. So you have to really talk to your girl, your lady, your fiance. You have to really sit down and talk to her and get that worked out, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself in a bad situation. There was a guy online yesterday. I was watching a TikTok yesterday. He was online with his lady. I'm not going to say any names. He is 62 and she is 22. And they started arguing online. And the argument led into her crying and leaving. And basically, it was an argument of her complaining that she's only getting 4,000 peso a month. And how much money is enough, right? How much money is enough to give a girl? He said, I just spent $2,000 on Victoria's Secret and purses and clothes on you and all that stuff last month. And now you're telling me that you want more, more, more. And so that is sometimes you're going to run into that with raising, honestly, a child at 22. A lot of girls are still children at that age. And don't get mad at me. Any grades, you are who you are at whatever age. There's some girls at 18 are 30-year-olds. So, but her actions yesterday, I could see her actions yesterday, because she started, putting him down and this, that, and other. He says, honey, I love you and we're married and I'm not going to do anything wrong. You don't need to go be parading down the beach in your bikini and trying to pick up other men either. And she goes, I just only did that a few times. So you can see the mentality there. And he says, what do you mean you just did it a few times? Oh, I thought you only told me once. Well, a few times once. A few times once, right? So eventually the conversation got to where she was mad, and she got up and left crying. And he said, I'm just tired of it. Well, that's a relationship right there that is not going to last. And it can't, because if she's crying and they're arguing on the video, how long is that relationship going to last? I mean, I felt sad for both of them, because they're both are being misheard. He's angry at her and she's angry at him, and they need to sit down and work it out. But then again, too, everybody has their problems. So, and she said, your problem is this, and he said, your problem is this. So they're doing it online. And of course, I wouldn't suggest airing out your problems online. And why would you do that, right? But that's who they are, and that's what they did, and it's fine by me. I just happened to catch it just for, about 5 minutes there. But I was doing something else, and I had to eventually cut it off. But there are many people that come here. The guy says, I don't know why I came here. I don't know why I thought about coming here. I don't, and she's already left. I don't know why. What was my mindset? What is my mindset like when I just sold everything and I come here, and I'm here, and it's just horrible for me. Island is fine, people are nice, but it's just horrible for me. Well, you got in a relationship, it's just not working out for him. And not everything's perfect. And it can be perfect for a little while. And you're not going to find anybody perfect where it's perfect, because you're not perfect, right? So I want to thank everybody for watching. I just had to tell this story today. God bless everybody.